Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur, and Uber is going to court again in the UK over driver employment status. Now, as everybody in this business knows, Uber has definitely pushed the fact that we are independent contractors, not employees, to do things like, say, not give us sick time, not give us benefits, not pay us holiday pay, and here's the thing. I have largely wanted to remain an independent contractor because being an independent contractor means also that I pick my own hours, I pick how long, I pick where, I pick when. It allows me to select which rides I want to take, and that's something that being an employee would not allow me to do. But the lawsuits for becoming employees have increased dramatically, especially as the rates went down and they never went up. And the UK has been fighting fervently on this, and they have actually gone to court twice for this. And in both cases, the UK has sided with the driver suing Uber, saying that they are, in fact, employees and not independent contractors. Well, Uber wants to go to court at least one more time. Now, here's the thing. Technically speaking, there's a few... They can go through this court process a few more times. So Uber wants to leapfrog the entire court battle and take it straight to the UK Supreme Court. And as one of the spokespersons says, we have this afternoon requested permission to appeal directly to the Supreme Court and it can be resolved sooner rather than later. Now, some people might be asking, well, why are the drivers fighting this hard when Uber has lost their license to operate in the UK and more than likely will have to cease operations. I mean, Uber's appealing it and they can continue to run until that appeal has been resolved, whether it turns in Uber's favor or not. If it turns in Uber's favor, Uber keeps operating in London. If it doesn't, they quit or they pack it up and go home. Well, the drivers are anticipating that Uber sticks around, and so that's one of the reasons they're still fighting for this. Now, will Uber stay around after the data breach and all that stuff? I don't know, to be honest. But here's the thing. The UK courts have been shown so far to not be very sympathetic to Uber. In fact, kind of like Amazon, they are very hostile towards Uber for what they perceive as damaging businesses. Whether that is justified or not, I will leave you to decide. And it is my personal belief that the Supreme Court in the UK is not going to grant Uber's wish. I believe they are going to rule against Uber, and then Uber will have no other options. Well, they'll only have two options at that point. And before I even tell you what one of the options is, some people would, of course, ask at this point, well, what would happen if Uber actually lost this and all the drivers had to be classified as employees? Because the driverless cars are not here. Well, they're here, but, they're not functioning on the scale they need to function to replace the drivers. So what would Uber do? Well, I think it's pretty obvious what Uber would do. They would willingly go home. I think Uber would honestly rather go out of business than change the pay model. Because the only way that the employee model could work is if people paid higher rates and then they would have to hire more people to not only activate and deactivate drivers, they would have to actually look at cases. They'd have to have an HR department, and that is a lot of people to, employ and have to look over and stuff. I just don't see Uber doing it. Now, of course, the other thing that they could do is, of course, they could comply and make it work, but I don't think that's going to happen. Again, I just don't see it happening. And this is going to be interesting to watch. We're just going to have to see what happens, of course. But I am pretty much willing to bet at this point that the Supreme Court case will not go Uber's way. I think it is going to go very poorly for them, and they're going to have to seriously think about what they want to do in the future. And that may even be the reason why they're pushing to have it escalated, not only because they don't want to be paying the legal fees to do this over and over again, but because, especially with the London license on hold and it's been revoked and they got to fight for it, maybe it's like, well, let's see if there's even an Uber worth fighting for at this point. Because here's the thing, if they lose the lawsuit, and they very well might, their response could be, well, the London Transportation Service, or whatever it's called, wouldn't let us back in the country, and that could be their saving face. But the court case has to be resolved before that gets resolved, so that's probably why they want to speed this up a little bit. Personal thought, personal opinion. That's what I think. But what do you guys think? Do you think that's what Uber's endgame is? Do you think Uber would win such a lawsuit? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the videos I make, consider becoming a Patreon member for $1 a month. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.